Hey everybody, so this is my latest design, and this is something I'm calling the SMB Prism. And I know there's other puzzles out there that use prism in the name, but this one is made of clear material, and it quite literally is a prism. So as you might be able to guess, the design of this is in the mirror blocks family of puzzles, meaning every side is extended away from the base puzzle a different amount. But the actual core concept of this design is that you can actually see the base puzzle on every side, and it looks exactly the same, that black puzzle underneath it, which I think just looks awesome. So what that means is that if you turn a layer like this, the shape of this black cube on every side will never change. So that is the base puzzle there, and only the shape of the orange blocks changes around it. So the concept for this design comes from a couple different places, but to give you a little context, I've been doing this puzzle modding thing pretty seriously for almost a year and a half. So in the grand scheme of things, I'm basically still a beginner, time-wise at least. But I was always interested in mirror blocks designs, and I thought they were some of the coolest looking stuff. But one thing I thought would be interesting, and I've had this thought for a while, it's just up until now I didn't actually go through with it, is what if instead of just doing a mod to a puzzle and then having it look different, what if the actual process of doing the modification was visible in the end product? And I thought about this idea for a long time, and then I just realized, well, for that to happen, the material would have to be transparent, so that you could actually see the base puzzle and the modification that was applied to it. So that is what this design is. This is it is a mirror blocks puzzle, and it solves exactly like a 3x3 mirror blocks. But the material is what's really different from all my other mods. So over the past year or so, all of my puzzles have been made with epoxy sculpt and plastic sheeting, and I've done some stuff like this. So now that I'm pretty familiar with that material, and I basically have been able to push it to its extreme, I was getting kind of bored with that, and I thought, well, there's got to be some other materials that'll be more challenging for me. And I got to tell you that this is so much harder than just working with plastic sheeting and normal, solid black puzzles, because the surface finish required on this is just extreme, and the finishing time is just much longer. And this is absolutely the first puzzle I've ever built with this material. So it's not perfect, but I am really happy with how it turned out, and mostly just for what this concept will allow me to do in the future regarding this material and this type of design. So to show you how this thing moves, pay close attention to the center square on every side as I do this checkerboard pattern, and no matter how you turn it or scramble this cube, that always stays perfectly square like this. You can see that side, no matter how you turn it. And the turning is really good actually too. So you can see there how there's still that square on every side, and that never changes. But then the actual design of it, just from the shape of it, is definitely a mirror blocks puzzle. But one of the coolest things about this is how it looks under certain types of light. So I'm going to turn off these big lights and show you what I mean by that. So here we go with it backlit. Now check this out. Isn't this ridiculous? Look at how that looks. And now you can actually see all these horizontal and vertical lines? That is actually the grain of the plastic sheeting that I used to build this. It wasn't using any sort of mold and pouring epoxy in or whatever material and letting it dry. This was all done with the same plastic sheeting method that I've been using before. It's just now the material's clear, so the actual finishing work is like 20 or 30 times harder than normal. But you can see how the light just totally passes through the material like that, which is where the prism name comes from, obviously, because it is one. And yet still, that square in the middle, the cube in the middle, is always the same. you can see on this piece here, sort of in the light, how the grain goes this way for these pieces, and then these were glued on top of it this way. But in the normal light, this is sanded so smooth that you cannot feel all these extension lines. And these are all surface level extensions, all these lines, but you can't even see them and you can't feel them either. They're just perfectly smooth. I mean, this is just feels like glass. It's so smooth on every side. So this would look really cool against some sort of backlit base to display these puzzles on. I think that would look really cool. So I'll zoom up here and try to show you some of these extensions here. So when you get it in the light like this, you can see the layers, but you absolutely cannot feel them, even though they're right on the surface. But then when you turn it just a little bit, see this part? They just go away completely. So it all depends on which direction you actually view it from. But that three-dimensional view of that inner corner there, I think it looks really cool. You can see just how it's floating in there. And you kind of get that optical illusion of the black part being here, even though that's just a reflection of it. It's not actually on that surface at all. Like, all of these are just reflections from the inside, because the black material stops right there, but you can see it on every side just like that. So I think that looks really cool. See the top there? You can see all those black squares and then they disappear. So now I'll just go through with a full scramble of this thing. And the turning is really nice on this, even though it just is a first prototype. So there we go, there's a scramble. So the exciting thing about this design is there's so much I can do with this. I mean, this is just the very beginning. First of all, the first easiest thing to do is this could be made in so many different colors. The orange is just the only thing I had with me right now. But this could be neon green, it could be just normal clear, it could be neon yellow or red or blue, or really anything. So that opens up a lot of possibilities. And for different layer sizes too, and even cuboids, that would work as well. So the thing with this though, what I'm going to do for just to start is, because this takes so incredibly long, I mean, it's really an intense process to build this thing. I would say probably 50 times harder than doing a standard mirror blocks like 3x3 mod. It's so involved. There's so many extra steps to make the surfaces look the way they do and feel just completely glass smooth like this. It's a lot of extra work and different tools and stuff like that. Because of that, how long it takes to do, I'll probably start with just 2x2s, and I'll try to make those available for purchase as soon as possible. I really think this is an awesome design, and I think a 2x2 would look really cool too with this design and in a bunch of different colors, you know. So I'm going to make that stuff available as soon as possible, and I'll make a video letting you know when that is actually available. And with it scrambled up like this, I think I'll go back to the other lighting view and show you it that way too. So here's the backlit scramble, which looks pretty ominous, doesn't it? This color is actually perfect timing for Halloween, isn't it? I didn't really plan that. I've had this orange material for a while, but yeah, timing works out pretty well this time, doesn't it? And I really love on the smaller, or some of the thinner pieces, how it really just shines through yellow like that, and much darker amber on some of the thicker pieces like this, where it just has more material to go through. I don't know if you can see in the background on the table, but how it reflects the light like that looks really cool too. So I think that about does it for this video of this early prototype, and definitely keep an eye out for when the next models of this are released. And thanks for watching.